How many of you here have ever misread a road map? Hold your hand up, will you? Isn't it easy to do? How many of you ladies have ever misread a recipe? Hold your hand up, would you? Yeah. How many of you men had to eat what they misread? Hold your, yeah. You know, when we read the Bible, we want to take great care to be precise. Because God has written instructions that are particular. And in a day when men want to read with a glancing and a passing eye, not even catching exactly what it says, we open ourselves to profound harm. A number of years ago, my family and I decided to take a vacation. And my wife said, what would you like to do? And I said, well, why don't we gather the kids up and go rent a little motor home? I said, there's a fellow up in town that has some. They had just come out. And I said, this looks like a neat way to camp to me. We had always camped with a tent, and boy, I looked at this little motor home and I thought, this is the slickest thing I've ever seen. And my wife said, well, that's a great idea, but she said, do you know how to run that? And how many of you men know that when a lady says that, there's a certain something that wells up in you that says, of course I can run that. I mean, I'm a man. I can do anything, right? I mean, I can run that thing. And I told her, I said, listen, I can run this, I'm sure. Well, I went up and I rented it, and I asked the fellow, I said, now, do you have a manual? Oh, he said, we got a great manual. And he said, as long as you read the manual, you won't have any problem. And you know what? This motorhome did have a great manual. I don't care what the problem was. If you needed to know what to do, you could look it up in the index. It would tell you exactly how to handle that little motorhome. And we went out and were camping for about a week, had a great time, and suddenly my wife came to me and she said, honey, there's a little red light on the wall that has come on. What does that mean? And I said, I don't know. I didn't even know the thing was there. Let me get the manual. And I got the manual out, and what it said is when that little light comes on, your holding tanks are full. How many of you know what holding tanks are? For those of you not familiar, all the nonsense from the sink and the shower and the rest all goes into a tank. And ultimately, when you got 3 small kids, how many of you know you fill that tank in a hurry, right? And it said what you got to do is go to a dump site and empty the tanks. Well, I'd never done this before, and so I asked the guy, I said, where's your dump site? He said, oh, it's right down here, and showed me where. And it said there's a hose in the bumper. And I thought, I never heard of such a hose in the bumper. And I pulled the thing off the end of the bumper, and sure enough, there was a sewer hose in the bumper. And I pulled this hose out, and it said what you do is you go over on the left side, and you hook it up, and you lay it along the ground, and you run it down the sewer. Then it said, go over to the other side of the motorhome and find a little air valve that's right there, and I found it. And it said in the book, in order to put, and I'll use their words, a positive force in the tank, you were supposed to put 10.5 pounds of pressure in that air valve. Now, I'm standing outside reading this book, first time ever, and I didn't see that little dot. And I thought it said put 105 pounds of pressure. Hey, it's a very minor thing to miss. So here's what I said, honey. They had an air thing right there. I said, I'll put the 105 pounds of pressure in and stand on this side. And to my dear wife, I said, you stand over here by the hose. And when I get 105 pounds in, you pull it. She said, okay. Now we're standing there getting our directions straight, and next to us pulls up the most drop-dead gorgeous bus that's been converted to a motorhome you've ever seen. The thing is 40 foot long. It's a Greyhound type bus. It is fresh from the factory. Guy pulls right in next to me and my hose. He gets out and he says, do you like my bus? I said, wow, that thing is something. He said, I've just picked it up. He said, there's not, these were his words, not a bug on it. Not a bug. His wife said, that's right. Every time we hit a bug, he got out and cleaned it off. I mean, this thing was spotless. He said, do you want to know what I paid for it? He asked me. I said, well, yeah, man, what'd you pay for this? Never forget this. He said, I paid $232,000. Wow. He said, do you know why I'm emptying my tanks? I said, no. He said, there's nothing in them. I just want to get the dust out. I said, wow. Now, my wife tugged on my sleeve, and she said, we got more than dust in ours. Let's get going here. Now, once again, she said to me, you've read the book, right? I've read it. I go over here, hook up the air thing, and it's one of these old-time ones that goes ding, ding, ding. How many of you know the kind I'm talking? Man, I hooked this thing up. It's taken forever. I mean, it's just ding, ding, ding. I'm putting air in this thing. My wife comes over. She said, what's taking so long? I said, listen, it takes a minute to do it right. I'm getting it in, 105, a lot of air. I got to put it in. She looked in at the tank, and she said, look at that. The tank is bulging. And I don't know why. I said, hey, it's supposed to. It's supposed to do that. I mean, I just didn't like being questioned about this. I mean, I'm telling you, it's how it's supposed to be. I said, you go back over there, and I'll tell you when to pull the valve. So she walked back around. I could not quite get 105. So I told her, we got as much in as it'll do. I'll keep it on it. You pull the valve. When she pulled that valve, the most amazing thing I've ever seen happen. She gave that thing a rip. That little hose, man, it whipped right out of the ground, and it stood up. And that little hose is going brrrr, all over that brand new bus. Brother Wayne, I hear my wife yelling, oh no, oh no. Man, I come running around. Here she is trying to grab that hose. The guy that owned the bus come running. I come around the corner. That thing made a pass, and it hit a screen over a kitchen. Pop! Put the screen right in. When it was all done, I said, man, you got more than bugs now. Look at this. That's what a mess. That man, I believe he still dreams of me.